Welcome to my show.
Oh my God, you did not just pull that out from under us.
It's called Bledsoe Said So.
Dude, I made the same joke on Jenny's
true.
episode.
I'm the Bledsoe. That's not named Bledsoe anymore. I'm Holloway.
Yeah.
She said she's the Bledsoe, so I guess we can leave.
What's up, guys?
We're on camera. I forgot.
Yeah, we're on
Hi.
camera. Yeah, we are here. My wonderful sister is joining us today.
The legendary Emily Bledsoe Holloway.
There you go.
Dab on him.
That's me.
Oh my God, dude.
This is awesome. I'm actually very excited for this because
We've been pumped for this.
Yes. So Emily, I'm just going to speak for you.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But Emily has had some incredibly profound experiences, and just as much as the rest of us. And it's going to be really fun to hear, like her side of things. And so Emily, what are you most excited to get into?
Wow, dude, that little dance. That's what I'm most excited about.
You liked it?
Yeah. Can you do that a couple more times throughout the episode,
I love
please?
it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll
get up and do one.
I don't know what I'm most excited about. I think it's really just that I have a different perspective than everybody else in the family because I'm the only daughter and I'm the youngest. Mm-hmm. So it's just because I was at home longer than everybody else.
How old were you when it happened in 2007?
Oh, yeah.
I think I was 10, depending on it was January, so I would have been 10 years old.
Yeah, and that checks out. I was 13.
Wait, is that right?
Yeah,
I might have been 9 because
No.
I was born in 96. Math.
I think you were 10.
So you were mad young. You were mega
Yeah,
young.
she was a little baby.
Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Do you remember a lot of the, because I guess you were, that's pretty young. Do you remember a lot of the feelings and stuff that was going through your head when the Cape Fear River, when the first incident kind of started and when your dad first started talking about it and stuff?
Now, I'm going to cut in here and I'm going to hear what she has to say, and then I'm going to give that older brother perspective who remembers her at the time.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I want to preface by saying 2 things. 1, I don't remember a lot of my growing up years. 2, if anyone in our family can say this, I can, and I will say I am a space cadet. So I don't know. I kind of
wait. Is that real?
No, she
a
spaces
space cadet.
out.
I space out. I live in a dream world.
Oh my God.
I'm like my dad in that way.
Very, very always in your head.
I
and,
may not hear what you're saying to my face at all.
Yeah, very
You fit in perfectly here.
Very
then.
daydreamy.
That's why I go so well with you guys. Growing up, y'all would be going crazy, and I'm just like,
you're like, yeah, this is cool.
We had a very crazy household when you think about it.
weird.
At any given time, Nick, you can attest to this.
I was about to say, as someone outside coming into the house, yes, it was.
It was pretty insane. My parents were never the ones to be like, shut it down, send your friends home. Do you remember that?
Never.
No,
once.
it was they were hanging out with us. At least my mom was for sure at 3, 4 in the morning.
I was gonna say, if anything, your mom would beg for your friends to come over.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She always loved having people around the house.
Yeah.
She would hang out with us.
It was always a crowd. It was either scores of UFO people or all of our friends. It was wild.
Yeah.
And so you don't really remember much about that time?
Okay, I remember some things. I do remember always believing Dad from the very beginning. I never, ever doubted. When you're as close as we were as a family, and I'm a daddy's girl. I always have been. And I find myself being like an empath. I'm very empathetic, and I can just sense the truth in what people are saying, and I just always have believed Dad. But that doesn't mean I wasn't scared of anything, but whenever that first year happened and Dad hadn't had the regression, there were times where he was scared. And
it was chaotic.
It was really a dark time for us as a family.
It was frightening.
Because he didn't know what was going on and people were giving us a hard time.
Yeah.
He would scream in his sleep a lot.
And I was down through the bathroom, through a wall. I could.
Oh,
yeah.
Remember her room was beside.
My room was kind of connected
room.
to my parents'
Wow, I didn't
Through
even
a
think about
big
their
bathroom,
room. Yeah. So It was very confusing, especially with the way we grew up religiously and our community. We were really well known in the community, and I'm the little girl, the little angel, you know. And we have this family that we're very close to, extended family we're very close with, and we got a lot of heat from people we loved very closely, and that was really confusing.
And still do, you know, like snide remarks and stuff.
I mean, I understand why there's wars over religion, because when someone's reality is challenged, it's very upsetting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying in our sense it's like a religion thing. I'm saying like our reality was pulled out from under our feet.
Yeah.
No,
and I was only 10 years old, so it was hard to see that in my dad. And
just for
and
the
then
listeners,
in my mom,
how old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay. 15 years.
Yeah. And my mom didn't like it. And one of the things on my list here, I have my iPad. Because I have...
Shout out Apple.
Emily came mega prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
she was always the freaking star pupil or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way I got through my master's, so... Anyway.
And here you have it.
Yeah, here we have it, folks.
I barely made it through undergrad, dude.
What was I saying?
Oh no, not now. No, we're already forgetting what we were saying.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
You were talking about your mom.
You can't put us together, man.
You started
oh yeah, your
shucks.
mom.
No.
You said that.
You were talking about mom.
You know what I was gonna say is that Ryan often references that period of time.
I remember it
as the 5 years of darkness.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Okay, so that time was especially confusing for me because I'm a musician, I'm a singer, I'm a pianist, and the way
don't you understate yourself like that. NYU professor,
yes,
musician,
thanks,
yeah, masters in music.
Yeah,
this is a literal master of music.
Double master.
I had to throw that out there. But go ahead. Sorry.
So the way I remember in Jeremy's episode, he said he escaped through like World of Warcraft, and like video games. Yeah, I was in my piano and in my music. So
hell yeah.
This is when I will cry in the episode if I do.
That's all right. Let it flow. Let it flow.
In our house, our old house,
mm-hmm.
My piano was in the back of the house. Someone bring me a tissue while I'm talking.
Come on,
hello?
Let's get some tissue. Tissue on set. Come on.
Stat right now.
Thank you.
There you go, Jenny.
Joining the camera.
Let's go.
Never mind.
Bring a couple.
She waved at the camera.
So anyway,
yeah, bring the box.
My piano was at the back of the house, which is where where Dad's room, the
red room,
like his man cave, red room was
big man cave,
the famous red room. And it was next to the back door, which was a big glass window on the door. And
hold it over here.
I would just sit at the piano and I would play for like hours and hours and hours, literally like a day, hours a day.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And
it was nonstop piano or drums in our house.
Yes. Always music.
Yeah. Or guitar. When you came over,
your mom would get furious with me playing electric guitar at like 3 a.m. So.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't have done that though. We were kids.
Sorry, Mama Bledsoe.
No, we're better for it.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, so I would play, and some days that was probably like the only.
You got this.
Woo!
No, let it.
It's probably the only like normal connection Dad had.
How do you mean?
Because he would quit thinking about all of the troubles and all of the things going on, and he would say like, you hit a wrong note, like you gotta play a better note. And we would talk about my music, and I would sometimes play and he would just be silent, and I'm 10 years old, like making sure my dad's okay.
Oh.
And my parents, shout out parents.
Shout out mom and dad.
Shout out parents.
And shout out to mom, because I know she's given sort of a hard rap about not supporting, but she is supportive. She just
I don't give her a hard rap.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying the community, because I know strangers come up to my mom and say,
why don't you
support your father?
Really?
And that's so
that happens
horrible for them to say, because that's completely wrong.
Mom is probably the best mother
she's
and wife.
She's the strongest mom
that I've ever met in
wife,
my
like,
life.
1,000%.
Yeah, she's
amazing.
She's amazing.
Nothing short of amazing.
But what I was going to say is, and she'll probably admit to this, like I was the liaison between them for a long time. For like periods of time, mom would say, hey, go make sure your dad's okay. And that meant go play piano.
Really?
Or bring him his dinner. I would bring him dinner. And it was a hard time.
Yeah, it was.
So if anything, that validates that we're not doing this for the attention, because it wrecked us, honestly.
Yeah, everything I hear about that period of time is that it was just extremely hard for everybody in the house. When you think back on that memory of playing piano to kind of console and connect with your dad, how does that memory feel to you? Is it one that you look at in any kind of a fond way, or is it more, do you have dark feelings towards it?
I'm very fond of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I have no regrets about anything that we've been through, no animosity towards anything. I feel very at peace now, but I will say, to paint an image for everybody, that I always imagine this if we were going to make a movie that we were promised.
Which we were going to be for 9 years.
And we would talk about, like, what it would be like, and that's why I'm wearing chicken socks, because there's chickens on them, because we used to say the chickens would play different members of the family.
Yeah, just a stupid joke.
Anyway, so part of what I always imagined was, and this isn't like romanticized, it was literally this, like I would be at the piano, little girl, I had the long blonde hair, just like little tiny thing, and my dad was standing like a few feet away from me, just like hands behind his back, just like looking out the window for hours.
Oh, yeah, because the piano was beside the back door where we would look out every night.
He would stand there at the door and stare at the sky.
We had that glass panel
all
door.
day. Like when he came home, he was there.
Yeah.
Or in the room just like hanging out. But when I was playing piano, he would go and he would just stand there and just like stare at the sky.
Yeah.
That's
so it's very fond. Like, I'm very fond of it, but
it's beautiful.
It was difficult.
I'm certain, especially that young. But, I guess the silver lining is like you were in a way able to comfort him through that really hard time.
Yeah.
That's, that is beautiful. As dark as it had to have felt, like that's beautiful.
Do you want to talk about maybe like some of the things that you experienced when you were that age? Like some of the dreams you were having?
I do, but I want to say first that in relation to that story, like it's hard to think of me going through that and then all of us going to school and being made fun of, and
yeah, that was brutal.
And then like my best friends making fun of me, like family members, cousins, and in our family, like our cousins are like our best friends.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this to anyone in particular, but there was always,
they're not gonna listen. You're safe.
Well, there was always an air of like, that's, the Bledsoes are weird now.
They're
weird
crazy
now. They're crazy now.
They're crazy.
And I always felt kind of, words are hard. I don't know, isolated and different. Like I was weird, and people would come up to school and say like, "Hey, your daddy been seeing UFOs on the TV." And I'm like,
and yes, people really talk.
And
like
I never,
I
never denied it. I would just say, "What's your problem?" And I'm like sixth grade, like, yeah,
what?
So
what's good?
But then I go and cry in the bathroom.
I have a confession that no one knows.
Oh, damn.
Emily, I hope you don't remember this. I'm going to lay it out.
Don't forget your question before that. I totally forgot.
Oh, yeah, you did have it. You were going to ask.
Oh, my experience.
Like some of your experiences.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is a hot take that no one knows. It's not my proudest moment.
I'm scared.
But you know how big brothers are.
No one knows? Oh, damn.
Yeah, this is pretty shitty of me, man. But you know how big brothers are, like protective over their little sister.
I'm
at least
scared
some.
to death.
No, it's nothing bad. It's not bad on you. It's bad on me. It's bad on me.
Okay.
It's
you mind if I move this a little bit?
Yeah, it's bad on me. Okay. But no, you know how like big brothers can be. Like you don't want to see your little sister like grow up and date boys. I mean, I was also like 16, 15, and she was like 11.
Right.
It was just weird. Like I always felt like protective
Ryan
over her.
is 3 years older than me.
So
you said 16
and 11.
But anyway.
You would have been more like 12 or 13. You were probably 13 at the time.
I'm 3 years.
And I would have been like 16.
But I was 4 school years below you. But
4 school years by a technicality because
Gotcha.
you were born in November. But yeah, we're 3 years apart.
Anyway.
And yeah, I do feel really bad about this. This was a long time ago. But just this is the gravity of how normal this was in our lives even when we were children. Like Emily liked this boy at school.
Oh gosh.
Oh damn.
And we were at a high school football game, and her middle school friends were there. And you know what I did, dude?
Oh no, Ryan.
What did you do?
just to scare him off.
No.
I told him all about the alien stuff.
No.
Isn't that terrible?
Way. Look at her face right now.
You don't remember that?
Look at it.
I don't,
Oh yeah.
You'll have to tell me who it is later.
I will. I don't want to.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, you are genuinely.
Hey, it
I
worked
know,
out.
that
I'm
was
married
terrible.
now to the love of my
Yeah,
life.
to a
Yes.
wonderful guy.
Oh, and I want
The
to
best.
say,
Shout out Jack.
shout out
Jack. Love
shout
you,
out
brother.
hubby.
Aw.
Jack and I were friends before we started dating for a while. And I was scared to tell him, like I have always been scared to tell people about our experiences, like terrified.
Because then the genie's out of the bottle and you can't put it
Can't
back in.
Yeah.
And then people drop you.
Or they treat you different.
It's really hard. So I have some really, really dear friends that don't know anything about it, as far as I know.
Wow.
Which they probably do, because in my experience, I've told multiple friends and they're like, oh yeah, I already knew about it through whatever. People just know. I don't know.
It's a famous story. It's a,
Yeah.
It's a big story.
Yeah. So anyway, I hadn't told Jack and he knew nothing about it, but he came back to me later and was like, I actually had a dream about you. And this was when we were just friends. He was like, I had a dream. We were out in the night sky, or like in night, and we were looking at the night sky, and you looked up and you said, come out and show yourself. And all these like orbs appeared and showed themselves.
No way.
And I was like, oh my gosh,
Hold
he's
on.
so special.
Was that before you told him about it or after you told him
It was
about
after, but
That's beautiful.
I never told him we had those type of experiences. I was very, very surface level about it because it's...
Even up until recently, you always have been. And I don't blame you.
Well, not with Jack.
No, not Jack.
Oh, you mean in
not
general?
Jack. I mean in general.
Oh.
And I don't blame Emily. I'm going to tell you why. Because in our
I've been in survival mode, guys.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to go into all that unless you wanted to, but in our family, we have 12 grandkids just on my mom's side. And then on my dad's side, we have 9 by blood and then several that have been like step grandkids married into the family. And Emily has always been the little baby girl who's like the apple of people's eye, and she's always been expected to behave and talk and think and do things a certain way according to like the religious stuff. And like she's always kept the UFO stuff kind of on a tight lid because of that.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's understandable.
It sounds like you were under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and also in the things I've been involved in my shows I've been in for years, and my the studios I was a part of and stuff like that. It was It was just not the move really to get into that stuff.
Right.
So
Which is epic of you to not only have some catharsis and like get some of these things off your chest ever for the first time publicly, but also support your big brother.
Yes.
And come on the show.
I have to say now before I forget that I am very proud of you guys. I really am. I think this is great. So
thank you.
If I say more, I'll cry, but I'm proud.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I heard your voice breaking a little bit.
I'm also cold, so I'm like kind of shivering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into some of the experiences you had when you were like young, like.
Okay, I want to talk about first. I'm mentally going over my iPad notes. One that I remember that was really early, I think in the first year of things happening, that was cool because me, Ryan, Jeremy, and Mom experienced it at the same time.
Oh wow.
We were coming home from church. Do you remember this?
Is it the ice cream cone?
Yes.
What we always call it? Yeah, I remember that.
So we came home from Wednesday night, like youth group, church, whatever, and we were driving down the road.
No, that checks out. You would have been 12. I would have been
No, I thought this was like the first year.
11 and 14. I would have been in the ninth grade.
It was very early in our
11 and 14.
Because I remember being like, whoa, like
yeah. I was in the ninth grade. Yep.
So I haven't seen anything like this since. So it's cool that we all saw it together. Anyway, we're in the car. Mom's driving. It's nighttime. And we're leaving church, going home, and we see up in the sky, or I don't know if I pointed it out, but there's like a formation in the sky of these 4 white lights that were shaped like...
when they were all together, if you traced them, it kind of looked like an ice cream cone.
Yeah, but it was like a triangle on the top and then a point at the bottom that was far enough down to where it looked like the cone of an ice cream. And I'm like 10 or 11, so I was like, it's an ice cream cone.
Yeah,
so that's what we've always called it.
Like almost like a cross, and if you connected,
like a kite.
Exactly,
like a kite.
Yeah.
It looked like that, but they were different lights in a formation moving together.
Yeah, and I pointed it out, and and we were like, oh, it's just stars maybe. But then it was
moving.
following our car. It was like going with our car.
For like a while. Through all the way to Grace Creek, probably.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which is like 10, 15
That
minute
happened
drive.
within a year of the original experience?
And Mom saw it.
Like,
and
I
all
want to
of us
be
saw
very
it.
clear. Like, when Dad had his experience in 2007, the other, experiences never stopped. It was right away.
Yeah.
We'd be out as if you probably remember this. Like,
Yeah.
the very first memory I have as a family having experiences was us all looking through the blinds
Yes.
in the red room, and there was a blue light bobbing on the horizon. You remember that at all? I mean, you were young.
I remember images of us together and like a light or something, but I don't remember that whole scene, if that makes sense. But I do remember Dad always.
He was frantic the first year at least before his hypnotic regression.
He would wake us up at night.
He was desperate.
He wouldn't wake Mom up though
To get us to see stuff.
He wouldn't wake Mommy up. He would only wake us up.
Yeah.
And we had school the next day, but we would go
that's
outside and we would just stand in the yard and see these big, honestly pretty large.
I saw some I talked about it on an episode one time with Jeremy.
I remember seeing a big red one in the backyard. It was orangish red.
Yeah.
Big. So
yeah, but we would see them like hovering over the trees, like not even saying like, oh, in the sky over the trees. I mean, like they were in between the trees, like floating over the trees, over our shed. We had that shed that your drums were in.
Oh my God, I totally remember that.
Your drums were in the shed.
Over the shed.
Something was like over the shed, and I drew a picture of that when I was like
Wasn't
12.
there something going over the Griffin's chicken coop next door?
Yeah, that's where the shed was. So
you're bringing memories back.
So that was crazy. But to me, since that was when I was little, it feels like a dream. But I know it was real, and I know we all had that
It was
together.
definitely real. I was there too. Yeah, of course. But you were just so young.
I really, really want a regression.
Oh, me too.
Really
We've
bad.
been talking about lately, you found somebody, right?
Yes.
That can do them.
In town.
So we've been talking about the possibility of, and he even mentioned if you wanted to do one, Jeremy, Chris Jr., whatever, we do them, and then we have you guys on to talk about them.
Yeah.
What would you think? I mean, that might be cool.
I would totally do it. I offered to Ryan. I was like, if you hook me up with a regression, I will come and read it.
Dude, we have to do that.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Or I'll at least sit here and cry while you read it.
It's like
I'm an emotional person.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only thing is, it's like $250, $300 a person.
That's so worth it though.
I know,
so many memories.
But like, it's just we got so many things going on. I want to do it eventually.
Plus, the fans love the regression episodes.
Yeah,
love them. So, and I think it would be really cathartic for you guys.
Yeah.
So,
it'll definitely happen.
Yeah.
When it's meant to happen, it'll happen. We should do that probably this year. But
would love to.
Yeah. So I really wanted to talk more about like
other experiences.
Yeah, like the dreams you were having.
I'll get to that. I want to tell one.
Okay, this is your show.
Yeah, it's my show.
Bledsoe
Back off.
We're gonna write Emily right above the Bledsoe.
Yeah.
And then Holloway after it.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the wall. By
Isn't
the
that
way.
awesome? Your art, one of your things is up there. The UFO.
Two of my things.
the owl.
That owl.
Yeah.
I carved it
It's a
out of
lithograph
a
thing.
block, and it's a stamp. I carved.
Of ink. Yeah, right.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it
I
is
did that in
epic.
art class with Jenny.
Okay,
so cool story. This is one that Dad and no, never mind. That's a different story. Anyway, there's so many stories. So many.
Endless.
There's way too many.
Endless. But this one's cool because it was my first time seeing one of the orange orbs, lights, whatever. And we also experienced it as a group in different ways. So let me explain. 4th of July. I don't know what year it was. No clue what year it was, actually. High school age. But I was always hanging out with Mom and Dad in their room. Like Ryan always had you guys over. I was like in the
Not
room
in
with
their bedroom, but
in the red room.
Yeah,
I was always
yeah.
hanging out, like watching TV and stuff and crafting. So I was sitting on the floor, sorting out buttons for crafts. And we were watching Independence Day on 4th of July, a movie about, aliens.
Yeah.
And shout out aliens.
Yo, big shout out to aliens. We
yeah.
couldn't do this without you.
Shout out aliens.
We could not do this without you.
Anyway, so I'm like, Dad, I really want a McFlurry.
Oh yeah, y'all were ice cream buddies.
Me and Dad were
Still
ice
are.
cream buds. We
Y'all
still
do Dairy Queen
are.
now.
We used to.
a formation that looked like ice cream.
Yes.
Cone.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, Dad will get up in the middle of the night sleepwalking. I've seen him do it. Me and Jack and Mom sit there and laugh at him. It happens because I live in a tiny house. I live in a tiny house on my parents' property right now because of COVID. Long story. Anyway, I'm there a lot, and he will come sleepwalking into the kitchen and get a big bowl of ice cream, eat it, not say a word, and then go to bed.
No way.
It's the rheumatoid arthritis medication. It makes him sleepwalk a lot.
Well, Christopher's a sleepwalker.
That's different. He's
Shout
just
out
a sleepwalker. Shout out
Christopher
Chris Jr.
and Jeremy.
Yo,
Yes.
can I tell a funny story about Junior real quick? Real short.
If you let me say something first.
You might derail her.
I don't want to derail
I can't be derailed.
Yeah,
I don't want to derail you.
That's why I make lists obsessively.
Okay, go.
I almost was going to call y'all out.
Oh,
I was planning for like 2 weeks to call y'all out.
What you gonna call us
Because
out for?
I have listened to, I think, every episode, and my name is mentioned dozens of times, and I'm very thankful that I'm important.
You are important.
But
You matter.
I
You matter.
never heard y'all say shout out Emily. Ever.
Have we
Listen,
not?
listen. In Jenny's episode, y'all list my name probably 25 times
And shout out
never
Randy.
say, you'll say, yeah, Emily did this. And then Jeremy, shout out Randy, shout out Alex Hodge, shout out, but never say shout out Emily. And I was
Cut it. We're editing this out.
I was going to call you out until I was like, what episodes have I not finished? And I was finishing up this week. And I listened to the comic book one, and you said shout out Emmy.
Hey!
Oh, so you just put us through the ringer for nothing.
Only the one time though.
It's because you're above the rest of the shout outs.
But it still wasn't shout out Emily. It was shout out Emmy.
That's right.
That's
her
even
name.
more endearing.
She's Emmy.
Yeah.
I am
she's
Emmy.
Emmy Bear.
Everyone
She's
calls me Emmy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even more endearing. You know what?
Wow.
From now on, every single episode we have a crystal reference. By the way, shout out crystals.
By the way, I'm wearing a
crystals.
crystal necklace.
What is it?
Yes.
I have no clue.
Epic. It's a crystal. That's all that matters.
It's probably a
So
quartz.
from now on, every episode, crystal reference and shout out Emily.
All right. I got at least.
I have to say, I am the originator of the crystal madness because I named our cat Crystal.
Oh my God. Yeah, over 20 years ago.
She was my crystal cat.
We literally had a cat named
And
Crystal.
we
back
named
in,
her
like, the
Crystal
90s.
because I wanted to name her something like
This was the 90s.
Crystal, Diamond, Ruby, Sapphire. And Ryan and Jeremy and Christopher were like, those are too girly. So we settled on Crystal.
Yeah, because we had a cousin named Crystal.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And now my mother-in-law's
I've
name
always
is Crystal.
been fascinated by crystals. Go ahead.
Shout out Crystal, my mother-in-law.
Shout out Pearl.
Shout
Shout
out
out Pearl.
crystals in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Jr. story.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think about it. I got derailed on trying to derail you.
You you two are the derail twins.
Dude, it's
We've always, people think we're twins.
I was about to say, I was literally just getting ready to say, look at the both of you look at the camera right now. Do they not literally look identical?
People,
It is so
I have friends
weird.
that call me Ryan.
Whoa.
And they say, like, Emily, cut your hair and don't wear makeup and you're Ryan.
Wow.
But I have people who say that about my other two brothers as well.
That,
But
what, that
that's
you
not
look
as
like
common.
them, or
it's
they
not
look
as
like each
common.
other?
No, that I look like them.
That you look like
but it's
them.
more common to be called
the two
Ryan.
of you are uncanny.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous.
We need
how
to do
much-
that TikTok trend where they put like the siblings together and they like alternate their faces really fast.
Oh,
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should do that.
Or
Yeah,
the,
let's
or
do it
the
tomorrow.
Thing, or the thing where it's like split down the middle and it's half of one of your face and half the other.
We'll do it
face.
tomorrow. Yeah, we
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
bang out some TikToks on Sundays.
Follow me on TikTok. I'm going viral.
Oh.
Yeah, TikTok
God.
star all of a sudden. What's the handle? What's the handle?
I'm promoting my business, guys.
Yeah,
it's
what's the-
literally
Yeah,
my
no, it's
business.
good.
I'm a
It's good.
performer.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's important.
Honestly, at this rate, we are gonna need you to shout us out.
It's not, I'm not really viral. It's one video has like almost, or maybe now it has 20,000 views, but
bet it does.
it's mcarol.sings. That's EMMCAROL.sings. Go
You know
ahead.
what's so beautiful, dude?
It's my business. I wouldn't say that if it was
No,
just
Emily,
like
you're
a
my
fun
sister.
thing.
You can
Dude.
plug whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're my sister. It doesn't matter.
Thanks.
But you know what's kind of funny, man? Like, you know how our ancestors Charles Dickens, right?
Yeah.
The audiences were like, "What the hell?" I don't think I've ever. You know, my middle name is Dickens, believe it or not.
That's
And-
mom's maiden name.
Yeah, our mother. That's our family name on my mom's side is Dickens.
Yeah.
And they did verify that he was like a great uncle or something like that, like way up the line. And so for that reason, there's a lot of Charles Dickens themed names in our family. Like my uncle is Warren Charles
Mhm.
Dickens.
He's Charles Dickens. His middle name.
Charles
Charles
Dickens,
Dickens.
Emily's middle name is Carol,
Like a Christmas
like
carol.
a Christmas carol.
No
Yeah.
way.
But you know what's the funny thing?
I'm a singer,
You're a singer.
and I sing carols.
Yeah.
I never even thought about
It's
that.
so cool. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I love it.
That's so wild.
Yeah, well, it's not Carol anymore. Obviously, it's Bledsoe
No,
Holloway.
I
but-
kept it. I kept
So
that.
it's Emily Carol Bledsoe Holloway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that
That's
is not
epic.
going to be the title of the episode.
Yes,
No,
it is.
It's
don't.
going to be Emily Bledsoe Holloway. we're not doing full names.
So what is the most recent experience that you've had, Emily? Can you remember? Can you even recall?
Most recent?
Yeah.
To
your memory, at least.
Yes. And I think Dad may have posted a video of it. It's so casual. It's honestly like, go back to doing your business after you see something.
That's just how it is now.
I just walked outside. I was talking to Jack, like in the yard. And maybe this isn't the most recent, but it's probably the one that sticks out. I was like, Dad, there's something. And he comes out with his camera. Where is it? And starts recording. And there's just a big light, floating over in the field over where I got married in our yard.
Yeah.
And then it's floating away, and he got a little video of that. But
That's awesome.
there
you
is
know
a
what?
cool one that this wasn't the most recent. It was probably like a year or two ago. I just sounded really country, didn't I?
You are.
Oh my gosh.
That was such a
I'm a
self-aware
New
moment.
Yorker.
You know what's funny? Yeah, you are
I am
a
a
New
New
Yorker. Yeah,
Yorker.
she lived in New York for a few years. But you know what's fun? Or a year at least. But
I paid rent for a year, but COVID cut me short.
I know.
Yeah. So whenever
Rip.
we
F you, COVID.
whenever
Rip.
we get around our family,
We get real Southern.
no, you do.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm
mean,
an empath.
You went,
I connect.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, it's yeah. I
You
totally
consider
get
yourself an empath, like a hardcore empath.
I do, and it's kind of a trend right now for people to say that about themselves. I don't know if you've noticed that.
yeah.
People are like,
It's-
I'm an empath, and I'm not mocking them. I'm just, as someone who feels like they really are, it's kind of draining and frustrating to be around that type of energy, people sucking it out of you because they're like, I'm the empath, and
Yeah,
it's not a
we've-
competition. If you are, that's great. Join the club.
No, we
Like,
have met some people who are like, I'm an empath, and then like they're totally
We've met
like
some really
totally like
kooky
narcissistic. Yeah, like
people
it's-
coming over to
It's just
share
trendy
their.
to say like I'm
Yeah.
psychic too, or this or that. Like everybody wants to be.
Oh, speaking of some interesting people that we've met, funny story. Mom and I went to Disney World with my marching band,
Uh-huh.
and shout out marching band. And
I love how she's hopped on the trend of the shout out.
because I wasn't shouted out, and now I
No,
feel
but you were.
redeemed.
But you were.
But now I feel redeemed.
You
Anyway,
were
so
shouted out a long time ago.
just once out of all the
You
time.
know what? You should practice some gratitude, Emmy.
Well, what
Damn.
I was gonna say if I was roasting you was that, but now I've come to terms with I'm so important to
Yeah.
your podcast. I don't need to
That's
be
what
shouted
I
out.
said.
You're just a local entity. Like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
presence is here. We
It's
don't
on
need
the
to
wall.
shout you out. Yeah, you're on the wall. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
But anyway, we come home from Disney World and literally 3 a.m. got off the bus with like 40, 50 kids, more than that, and pull up in the
60,
yard.
70, make it 80.
Shut up.
Wow.
We pull up in the yard and it's dark. It's like 3 a.m. and there are tons of cars at our house.
Oh,
While we
what?
were gone, Dad told he didn't have Mom to say don't let people come over, and everyone that ever wanted to come over was there.
Oh God, dude.
we
yeah.
had people literally in
tense.
tents in our backyard.
Yeah.
What?
Walking around talking, hey, and I'm like,
Who are you?
it's 3 a.m. This is my house. And I mean, it was kind of normal though, but that was the most I've ever seen was because we were gone. And Mom didn't tell him not to bring people over.
Yeah, it got to a point for several years where it was like at least once a month, crowds of people were coming just to
Yeah.
meet the family and see the orbs. And dude, I'm telling you, man, at least a few hundred people have seen things on our property.
Oh, I mean,
At least.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I 100%
It's crazy,
believe it.
including government entities or agents and things, which one of them, Emily, was present for.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was going to tell that.
Yeah, I know. I saw you write it down.
Yeah. But the thing I was going to say that happened like a year or two ago, I was like, in my tiny house, my bed is in the loft. So I have to crawl upstairs and I have a little window. And I like went to bed and I looked out the window and I saw an orange orb in the sky. And it's not a star because I know the stars that are right there. Okay, start over. You can't really see the sky super well right there because there's a big light outside the window to the side. So if there's stars, it's very obvious. So that's what it is, because this one was so bright and it was orange and it was just sitting there. And I literally, it's so casual. I looked at it and I said, good night. And I went to bed.
Oh, the orb?
I went to bed. It was just in the sky.
Talk to it.
I You talk to them.
That's amazing. I love that.
I talk to them.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because I never was the one to talk to him. I never did.
I just said, "Oh, good night," and I just went to bed. I didn't keep looking at it or anything.
That's adorable.
Maybe I need to start talking to more.
You know what I didn't put together?
I don't in crowds. That's weird.
Right.
It's a personal thing.
fair.
I walk out. I shut my car door at night from rehearsal, and I'm like, "Hey, are you there? Okay, see you later."
See, I don't do that. I've
Nothing.
never done that. I should start doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You know what I never put together though is that you live on the same property as your dad. So every time he sees them,
he's out every night.
You're probably seeing
He's out
them
there
too.
every night. Or Mama, come out here.
Yeah, he sees stuff like almost every night, and you're there.
Well, not
too.
lately because he doesn't like the cold with his arthritis.
Oh yeah,
so,
of course.
But yeah, when it's summer starting, he's out there.
Yeah, Easter's like the beginning of the season for real.
Yeah, we were just talking about in the last episode how like Easter every year he like knows something's gonna happen on Easter.
Man,
It's happened multiple years. Yeah.
I honestly think the longest time that our family, any of us, including Dad, like, you know, all of us have our experiences separately, but I think the longest time that any of us have been without seeing something is probably no more than like 2 months.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's honestly even shocking for me because
Yeah.
It
And that
goes
was a
in
long,
phases.
It was a long time
Really?
ago. Yeah, but
I go in phases where I feel like I'm less connected with that kind of
'Cause you're
stuff
just in your
because
daily
I'm
life,
I'm
yeah.
in my daily
I
life.
like
I'm
that too.
busy. I'm absorbed in whatever.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's been a while. And then I feel like consciously connecting back and noticing more. And then I see stuff.
really,
Yeah.
that's how. So you feel like you have to be focused on it, or like
No, it doesn't have to. I just feel like there's better chance when your mind is in the right place, your heart is in the right place, you're connected and you're aware. You feel more whole that way, and then you see more. Or when something's really not going well in your life, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Wait,
like-
When I've gone through some horrible stuff personally and with the family and different, I mean, that's when you see stuff that it's like, oh, yep, I'm being cared for.
I'm gonna
like,
be okay.
I'm gonna be okay.
yeah.
So you see them more if you're like if you find if you're having a particularly rough go, that they kind of pop up. Some scenarios.
I will say there have been times where I felt very lost, and that's when I will see something significant.
I feel like every time they show up, it's a sign.
I probably, but not. We see stuff just randomly.
Yeah.
That's
it's a
not
sign
even-
that
Every
they're
other
still
day.
there.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's always a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always meaningful.
Yeah.
You're
I
also-
never finished my Independence Day story.
Oh, finish it.
Literally.
Welcome to the ADHD podcast.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta finish this one.
Yeah.
It's iconic. So, because Dad always tells this one.
Oh snap!
So Independence Day, watching Aliens with Will Smith, and I want a McFlurry, and Dad and I would go to get McFlurries. We would make McDonald's runs all the time, and we would just listen to Led Zeppelin or U2 and just like roll the windows down and ride. Out in the
Dad
country,
did like you two, didn't he?
out in the country, we would just sing, and Dad would sing to the top of his lungs with me, just like U2 and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a great singer. Anyway,
great.
so I say, okay, or Dad says, okay, I'll go get my keys. He gets up and he goes into the house more, and Mom goes somewhere to the kitchen or something. And I say, okay, I'm outside. And when I open the back door that's right there next to the red room, I see it, and it's a big orange light, and it was so big, but it wasn't, I won't say it's super close, but I knew it was probably over the Christmas tree farm behind our house. I could tell it was that low and just over the trees, but it was orange, and it was almost like pulsing, like the light inside of it was like pulsing white and like orange. And I knew what it was, and I wasn't scared at all. And the way Dad tells the story, she said, Daddy, what is that? But what I said was, Dad.
He always tells it like that.
I did say that, but not like that. I said, Dad, what is that? I knew what it was, but I just wanted him to know that it was there. So
Right.
that's what came out. And he comes running because I said something like that. So he's running,
He
right?
knew, yeah.
And he's like, that's them. And then he turns around and he's like, keep watching it. And I was on the steps, and he's like, I'm gonna go get Mom. And when he goes to get Mom, I walk out down on the patio, and I'm watching it for a minute by myself, just completely by myself, looking at it like, this is cool, you know. Hey guys, what you doing up
Good
there in
night.
your ball of light? Hey, Orb. And
Shout out Orb.
Shout out Orbs.
anyway, so it starts moving. And Dad's running back out. He's like, "Where? It's still there. It's moving." And he's like, "Mom, you gotta hurry." And Mom never runs.
No.
Ever.
Yeah, if she sees
Mom
it, she sees it.
You know
never.
what Mom's famous quote is actually? Not like on the internet or anything, but she says it so much. Like, don't call me out unless they're freaking sitting on the yard waving. Like,
No,
I don't want,
if you can see them waving through the window.
yeah, through the window.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to go look at lights anymore because she's seen so many.
She gets tired of it.
Thousands.
Yeah, she gets
She's
tired of it.
just not impressed
So she's not
anymore.
running. So, but it's moving to the point where me and Dad are walking out in our yard because we can't see it anymore. So you got to follow to where you can see it behind the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking and we're like, "Mom, you better hurry." And by the time she gets out there, it's gone and she can't see it.
Oh my gosh.
And then it flies over your house where y'all saw it in the
Yeah,
pool.
so I was about to pick up on that. No,
Oh.
I saw it.
Ryan saw it at your house when y'all were swimming in the
Yes.
pool.
Yep.
Which is the
Behind
direction.
you and Casey.
It's the direction it flew in.
I saw it in the sky.
It went to the
Dude.
right over your house.
I 100% repressed that.
So for the
memory.
listener, if you don't remember, Nick and I grew up half a mile apart.
It's like a quarter mile. It was
Yeah.
like super.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
So they're seeing this over our house. It's traveling. I see it from his yard.
Yeah, and then
Literally the same thing.
and then Christopher comes home after we got our McFlurries.
yeah.
Christopher comes home with his, at the time, girlfriend who knew nothing about this stuff. We were told not to tell her, and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
very strict. Like, she doesn't know.
Mm.
And that's like understood.
Yeah, it happens.
All the time. Oh, you see someone new in the house, don't talk about it.
Yeah, just yeah.
You just
Unless
don't
you're
talk about it.
Jeremy and you
Yeah, unless
tell
you're
me-
Jeremy. Unless
you're
and
Jeremy.
You tell me the first time I come over.
That's hilarious.
It is funny.
You could take it.
Yeah, I guess. I was so terrified though. I was
You were scared?
legitimately. Oh yeah,
I
I
was
was.
like 14.
Plus, like that was my first. That was honestly my first time meeting anybody who had like seen a UFO.
Well, if it makes you
period.
feel better, anytime I heard the dogs barking in our yard for like 3 years, I was like, "They're here. Get ready."
I was gonna ask you
Like,
if you were
oh my
ever
gosh.
afraid. If you were ever afraid at all.
She was.
surrounding.
That's where I was going to pick up in the beginning when I said, I'm going to tell you.
Wait, but we gotta let her finish the McFlurry story.
There's so many things I could say, y'all. It's so
We
much
have-
history here. But the McFlurry story, and then we're done with that. Christopher comes home with this girlfriend we knew was not supposed to see it or to know about stuff. And they saw it, the same one, right after it flew over y'all's house or your house,
They saw it.
down the
down the-
road
yeah.
further
Yep.
in a field next
Over
to the
a field.
Walmart distribution center.
Oh yeah.
And they saw it, and she was like, "We saw this." And Christopher's bragging, like, "Yeah, we saw this. Like, yeah, we see stuff. We're famous for UFOs." And he was the one that was like, "Do not bring it up." So it was crazy
course,
that
you know,
we saw it, you saw
For
it,
clout with the girl.
Right.
and then,
you know.
and then Christopher saw it, and it was the same color, same thing, in the same direction.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, the cat's out of the bag already. I might as well
freaking
brag about
dial
it.
it up to 10. Yeah. Yeah, no, it doesn't work with girls, I promise. But, so.
Wow.
Or boys, for that matter. I got dumped.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my
That's-
god.
One of the reasons I got dumped, well, he gave a list, but one of the things he
He
said,
gave a list.
yes, he was very thorough with why he dumped me.
Wow.
Anyway, we're on good terms. No hard
Good,
feelings.
good.
But he was
That's
like,
good.
"Yeah, your family has some really interesting mystical beliefs that I really disagree with." I'm like, "Okay, bye."
All right, bye.
Anyway,
So, one of the things about Emily's childhood is that initially, obviously, she was like 9 or 10 years old. And, mom at the time was very having I guess, I don't know how to articulate it, but she was having negative reactions.
and
Sure,
she was
yeah.
balancing a lot.
Yes. And it's I don't think that there was anything inherently wrong with that. It was just like wrong place, wrong time in her mind. Like
Mhm.
everything's going downhill. They're losing their
Yes.
multi-million-dollar business.
Dad's sick.
Dad's sick,
Yeah.
going through bankruptcy.
Lots
and then
of
we see
stuff
this UFO
happening.
shit.
Yeah.
Like it just started coming down on us.
I mean,
Overwhelming.
compared to I know things weren't always peachy keen before the UFO stuff because Dad was sick and a lot of stuff was going on, but that was like the golden childhood for me. And then 10 years old, that stuff happened. Over. And I had
Most people don't know this about us, but
I had everything I wanted.
we were
We were
very
happy,
wealthy.
or I was happy. We were happy,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of money, and that's not a brag. We don't
It's
anymore.
not. We were children.
No,
we
you're-
were
We
children.
were children.
dad
I had
owned-
2 bedrooms, and
Really?
one of them was
Really?
larger than the master bedroom.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like obviously this was a long time ago, and I'm very
It's
thankful.
just different. It's
I'm very
just,
thankful.
It's amazing.
I'm very thankful that happened.
I am too.
Because who would we
I'm
have
proud
been
of
now?
who I am.
Yeah, who would we have been now growing up like that? Like we might have been terrible people.
No, I'm very proud of who we who we are because of it.
We grew up very wealthy because our parents had a like a multi-million-dollar business, and we had like this huge house, and then it was ripped away from us, and like a year later we started seeing the UFOs.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And it was very interesting.
Anyway. But I'm glad it all happened.
Anyway, you were saying I was scared.
So where I was getting at with that was everything was just so rough at the time in our lives, and Mom was reacting so much in opposition to what was going on. Emily was very sensitive to that, and it was causing a lot of fear in Emily for at least the first year.
Yeah. I'm a daddy's girl, I'm Mama's bestie. You know what I mean? Like we're like really really close.
And it was a very terrifying.
I take on what she's feeling, and
I was under
empath.
Secretly, Emily, you might not know this, but me and Jeremy were under extreme strict rules from Mom to not bring it up around you.
But it was anyway.
Oh, of course.
I knew stuff anyway.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But we weren't even allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, I knew that.
Emily.
You told me that.
Which, as kids, I'm sure made you want to talk about it even more.
No, they were very protective.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Very
Good.
protective.
Good.
Yeah.
All of my brothers.
I never did anything mean-spirited towards them.
This is the kind of stuff.
Sure.
This is the kind of stuff that scared me. Christopher being scared. And this is not, if he's listening, I don't want him to feel any remorse for this. I am thankful that he would care about me so much. But like one time, tears. Okay. One time I'm on the back porch drawing with chalk. That's how young I was. I was playing with chalk. Okay. And he sees me outside and he starts screaming at me. Why are you out here by yourself? Why are you out here alone? Why are you out? I'm like 10 or 11 and drawing chalk in our backyard. And he starts yelling at Mom, why would you let her be alone outside? She needs to be inside. They might get her.
No way.
That's the kind of stuff that really messes you up.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I wasn't, when Dad would say
you were
like,
so young.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw stuff, I wasn't in fear.
Do you know what probably messed me up the most?
But that kind of stuff happened all the time, and it was hard.
So real quick before, I want to hear.
No, it's okay. It's good.
His experience was very traumatic.
That's what I was gonna. So he kind of. It seems like
we weren't allowed to talk to Christopher about it at all for years.
I have never even spoken to Christopher about it a lot. I mean, I have spoken to him about it a few times.
Yeah.
But he is the one of all you guys that
was
talked
very
about
sensitive.
It the least. So he had a lot of fear towards it too.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah.
Yes, immense amount.
Let's put it like this. So when he was 17 years old, he was face to face with these entities for at least 2 hours.
Literally face to face.
Was he 17 or 16?
He was 17.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. He's 4 years older than me. That's how I keep that in my head.
Oh, he is 7 years.
Ages.
He's 7 years older.
7 years older.
Okay.
I know the ages because of we're siblings and our age gaps. But anyway, so he's face to face with these two entities with these red eyes, and they're looking at him for 2 hours, and he literally is paralyzed. He can't move. He told me he wanted to scream. He wanted to cry. He wanted to run. He
couldn't do anything.
He couldn't. He just sat there screaming in his mind.
Just messing with you at this point.
I'm so mad.
The lights keep flickering for the audio listeners.
Mad.
It's the trickster.
Whatever. Just leave it.
The trickster.
Anyway,
Green Man.
so he's dude. I need to recenter right now.
We need Warren in here to take them lights out back.
Dude, that's gonna go over their heads.
The lights on the wall are messing up for the listener.
Oh yeah,
that's
right.
See. The lights are like flickering.
I put a lot of love into these lights and this vibe, and it kind of pisses me off when they're on vibe, dude.
It's a sign. No, it's a sign that what you're saying is meaningful.
Your vibe's off, bro.
Jeremy.
Your vibe's off. Anyway,
vibe's off, bro.
So Chris Jr. was face to face with these two entities for hours, and he in his mind he's screaming, he's crying, he's panicking, and like anybody would.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And then he comes back
Especially
from that.
17.
Yes, and then here's the worst part: the people listening, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way for anyone who's new to the story, or you may not be aware of this, but after the documentary, this was totally apparent. This young innocent kid who has this mind-altering, horrific experience, and it was they might be benevolent beings, but the fact of the matter is he was a child.
It's reality shattering.
It's reality,
and they didn't know what it was, and it was
And anyway, so he has this experience. Now here's the worst part: it's not even seeing the beings. He comes back,
and Dad's missing.
No, not that.
Oh.
That's also
That's
no.
That's also
No.
wild, yeah.
After the encounter, he tells his mother.
Oh.
No offense, Mom, but this did happen. He tells his mother. He tells his grandparents, his cousins, his friends, everybody. It goes on TV. And they all told him he was a liar and he was crazy.
Yep.
What?
17 years old.
Oh.
Could you imagine the
no.
devastation, you know?
Yeah,
Like-
because you not only just saw something that completely challenged your idea of reality, but now everybody's telling you you're lying about it.
Or
and
crazy-
you're an
yeah.
impressionable teenager.
Sad.
Yeah.
God.
Really
He heard
sad.
it at school. Yeah, it was miserable. And this is the honest to God's truth. Other than when it first happened, he told me about it, you know, before the horror and trauma of like the documentary coming out and literally devastating our public image as a family. At least
Yeah.
for years. I think we're pretty well on the way to recovering it.
Yeah,
You know,
I think so.
like that's why I wanted to do the podcast in the first place.
Yeah.
But it's kind of changed a lot of that. But anyway, so I kid you not, I never really had another genuine conversation about this stuff with my brother until I was 18 years old.
Wow.
That's 5 years.
I don't know if I have.
You should.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying to this day you don't know that you have.
We're
I-
7
I'm-
years apart.
I'm very
You know, it's a
sensitive
little
about
different.
bringing
Yeah.
up certain things, and that memory of not talking to him about it is, I'm not as bold as Ryan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And also with your empathetic nature, you were probably just really trying to consider him.
Oh, I'm a protector. I protect
Right.
everyone in the room. I don't say this because of Ryan. I don't say this because of you. I bring that up because Alex needs to hear some encouragement. You know what I mean? Like, that's my role has up until now
He does
been
need some
that.
encouragement.
Yeah, Alex is great. You're doing great, buddy.
You're doing great. Shout out Alex.
Shout out Alex.
But I will say I'm thankful that we all went through things together, because think of all the people that went through something and no one believed him, but they're the only one.
Yeah, and they didn't have the same support
And
system.
even though like our whole family doesn't necessarily believe, our nuclear family is like,
have always been so tight and there for each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, and then, you know, throw that with the documentary comes out and, you know, our public perception is trash, and then like the government starts coming around. You know?
yeah,
Like it was pretty wild. Like I remember being 15 years old and there's a doorbell ring and boom, it's
and Hal.
NASA. Yeah, Hal.
was
Now
Hal.
they're in our lives all of a sudden.
Is that the first?
Hal
kinda-
was my buddy.
Yeah.
I want to honor him. I was very close with Hal Povenmire. We were pen pals, and he would call me
Oh, he
and
called me too.
to make sure I was doing good. You know, like I remember being in New York, and he would call me and be like, "Hey, we would just talk for like an hour." He's like, "Are you doing good? Can I give you anything? Can I call people and ring them up or give them some recommendations?" You know, like just really kind. And he would send us presents. He came
Yeah.
to my graduation, and
Aw.
just these kinds of people that come and
He gave me the
try
Tech
to-
Titan Arrowhead.
yeah.
Yeah.
His mission was to come and debunk us. And then
Yeah,
he
that's
becomes
really-
and then
Yeah.
he becomes like a father figure in my life or in our
he
lives.
was
Like,
he was covertly trying to debunk us.
Really?
yeah.
He was like
I-
a spy. Yeah.
I had no
Imagine-
idea.
Imagine
he
this
admitted
man.
the year before he died. He admitted to us he was an ex-CIA analyst.
Yeah.
When did he pass?
2019, 19 or 20.
I was in New York by myself and crying in
You know
my
what's-
apartment.
You know what's crazy about
Aw.
that? The next day, he was going to drive 12 hours from Cape Canaveral to spend Thanksgiving with us.
yeah.
And the day he was supposed to leave,
I-
he never showed up
I
for
found
Thanksgiving.
out after
Oh,
Thanksgiving
man.
because I had gone back.
Well,
I
here's
flew
how-
back to New
here's the
York,
order of
and I
things.
was.
The day of Thanksgiving, we never heard from him. He
We're
never
like,
came.
oh, guess Hal's not coming.
Next day, got a call or a text or something from his wife
Mm.
saying yesterday he fell, hit his head, he just passed away.
Yeah.
He was going to see us that day
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving, and then he died the next day.
That's so tragic.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
I had no idea that
Yep.
the original reason that he had come to see you guys was a debunk.
Well, imagine him ringing the door for Dad, and me and Ryan are the only two at home, and we're just sitting at the table with him.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's funny.
That was pretty crazy.
And I'm like 12.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you would have been 12
I
at
was
the
like
time.
12.
Yeah.
He liked me though, because I would sit and play piano like an introvert. When a lot of people were over, I would sneak off and put my headphones on
Do you
remember
to my
for many
electric
years-
keyboard and just play.
For many years, he dangled $20 over your head, metaphorically, not literally.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll give you $20 if you can learn Malagueña. You know
And I did it.
Yeah, you eventually did. You know Malagueña? I'm sure
I
you've
don't.
heard it.
Dun 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 dun. Anyway, Go ahead.
I like that. That was
Yeah.
good.
It's
Anyway,
a famous.
It's an extremely famous classical song. I'm sure you've heard it.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard it. And anyway, he challenged her for years to learn that song, and then she.
dun 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 dun.
I honestly I know the song, and I don't.
You're doing an excellent job.
I'm
I just
amazing,
want you to know.
guys.
You're
Those
doing
are
an excellent
my
job.
singing powers right there.
No, this is not a fist bump. I was like,
Oh,
but I'll take a fist bump
Okay.
again now that I'm ready. I know the song, and I did not recall it from what you just did, and that worries me that I don't really remember the song.
I think I have a video somewhere of me.
So
Anyway, she did learn Malagueña, which is pretty crazy.
So he told
For
you
him.
forever he'd give you $20.
And he did.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he
sent
gave
me
her the $20.
$20. Anyway.
He was one that came around quite a bit, huh?
The most.
Yes.
The most.
Oh,
yeah.
It was like every other month.
That must have been
I feel
wild.
He stayed in our house.
I was like, oh, we're having Chinese food and Ryan's not sleeping in his room tonight. That means house
Yeah, I would
here.
let him sleep in my bed.
He always slept in
Really?
Ryan's
yeah.
room.
I would sleep on the couch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
True
crazy.
story.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. I gave my bed up for NASA.
Yeah.
I'm literally in bed with NASA. Oh, shit.
NASA's in
Oh
bed
my
with
gosh.
you.
Yeah,
NASA
that's
was
true.
in bed with you, it sounds
They're
like.
keeping it warm for me. They're revving the sheets up.
Did
man.
you have something to say? And I sidetracked because I have another story.
Like an hour ago, I was going to say something about Chris Jr., but I don't remember it.
Oh, I was going to tell the story about John Alexander.
Oh, yeah, I did ask you that question. Yeah.
This is in his book.
Reality Denied?
I think that does
That's-
he have another book? I haven't read them.
Well, he does, but that's the one where he talks about that encounter.
Yeah, no offense. There's all these books, and we lived this. I don't
He's
read
not
them.
gonna listen
I
to this.
don't. I'm just saying to people in general. If you send a book, you got to convince me to read it because I grew up with this. It's not.
You can't fathom how many books
it
we've received
like-
from oh my God, your experience.
Yes, all the
and we
time.
appreciate it, but dude, we've gotten so
Well,
many
it's all.
books.
It's not just
Dozens.
that, but it's also like. I hate to throw this around, but it's kind of like a trigger response to be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and commit hours to read this, and that can be challenging. Anyway, so the story is, John Alexander and his wife Victoria were at home to visit our home.
Yeah.
And Dad said, or they wanted to go see the river, the Cape Fear River, where he experienced everything. And Dad said, Emily, why don't you come with me?
I wanted to come and he wouldn't let me. He thought it'd be too many people.
Yeah.
Really?
So I had to stay home and Emily got to go.
But I think Jenny was there too.
Yeah.
So that would have been too many. So
Yeah.
he said, just Emily, come. So I went with them, and his wife, Victoria, really, really wanted to see something. Like she's a fun lady. She's really funny. But she was like, I want to see them. I want them to come out and speak to me. Like I want to shake hands with them and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I'm really chill. I'm very chill. I'm like my dad in that way. But we go down the river.
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
she's the most like
Me and
that.
Dad are
Yeah.
very spacey and very like chill.
Very chill.
And then we have
I'm
moments.
the most like mom.
But then we have like moments of explosion, and we're like super hyper crazy and like weird, and then we're chill. Anyway, so we're at the river, and John and Daddy are walking around talking. Victoria's hyping me up. She wants to see, a being or something. We're not going to see a being. We're touring the river site, So we're walking around, and we finally we do the tour. We walk back up to the car, and she's like, okay, I give up, let's leave, and gets in the car.
Yeah.
She gets in the car and shuts the door, and I sit in the car
Facing like with the door open. She's like
and I
facing outside
have the door
car.
open, and I'm sitting there with my feet out talking to her, and Dad and John are standing in front of me, basically. Like I'm sitting here with the door open. They're right in front of me, and they're looking up, and Dad says, I feel them. And John's like, what? And
The whole forest
Victoria
got quiet.
She
remember?
can't hear any of this because she's in there ranting about how she didn't see a being. And and then me, Dad, and John look up, and this big light appears, like big, huge and bright, and then it gets really small and goes away.
It went from big to small.
No, it like flashed huge, like a big flash in the sky, and then it like got really small and like went away and
And she
disappeared.
didn't see it?
And she didn't see it.
And, it's
and
funny,
he
she
was like
cocky about it.
No, he was like
She wasn't
he was like,
right.
Victoria, come see it. And she was like trying to open the door and couldn't get it.
It wasn't meant for her.
And then got
No
out, and
way.
it was gone, and she didn't see it, but we all did.
Important to mention.
And he had never seen anything. I don't think
right.
he had never seen anything, and then he put that in his book.
Very, very
Because
important.
Dad said, I feel them, they're here. And then
Right.
we saw the flash.
Very
We're-
important to mention. got to say this because
which happens all the time.
I was.
Can I make a mention?
I was
Sorry.
getting ready to
Can
say,
I make a mention, damn
we
it?
said that in the last episode.
But
that
this
he
is
feels it
Bledsoe
coming.
said so, and I
Right.
am the princess.
Right.
Actually, that's my wife.
No, I'm still the princess.
My wife is my princess.
We're gonna have to.
No,
have
let's
them
just say,
fight.
okay, no. If Dad, Christopher, Jeremy, and Ryan all passed away, God forbid, I would inherit the kingdom. I'm the princess.
The kingdom.
What kingdom?
I'm the heir.
That logic holds up.
I'm the
You know,
heir.
in the ancient
She's
past, the
my
Bledsoes were
princess
feudal
sis.
lords.
She's my sissy now.
What's up, baby?
Shout out Jenny, my bestie.
Can I make a mention though?
Yes,
That's kind of
mention.
important.
Look, hey Ryan, Emily and I will allow you to make a mention.
Yeah, we are teaming up against you.
Just like me and Jeremy did.
Yay.
Just like you and Alex do. Just like you and my freaking wife do.
No, Ryan and I are ride or die.
Oh yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, we are.
I'm
ride or
his
die.
little brother.
Yeah.
He always used to say that.
Oh no, you did.
I was being sweet.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
all right. Anyway, this is for you. Emily never even mentioned this. That John Alexander, the significance of that encounter is he, reported it to the CIA. His coworkers, he ran the Project Stargate operation for the United States intelligence, I don't know, industry of the Army or whatever. That makes no sense. Army intelligence. He ran Project Stargate, which was the psychic spy program. Like, just very important to say that. You just went right in the story and
Well,
said,
I just assume they all know who I'm talking about.
You gotta remind them. You gotta soothe their souls.
Oh, he's
that
an
what you call it?
he's
You gotta
an
guide 'em.
important man.
No, he's not important. It's just the facts.
Okay.
Like you gotta.
He was the head of the what's it called?
Project Stargate.
No.
The CIA spy program.
No.
One of them.
No.
Los Alamos. He
No.
was running Los Alamos.
Oh. What's it called? It'll come to me when the podcast is over.
It's usually how.
Yo,
it goes.
you know what we were originally our original idea for having you on was to talk about chakras. Did you know that?
I did know
that was her idea.
Oh, I have a story
was it
about
really?
that.
Yeah, that was her idea. She told me that on the phone.
Because I just heard.
I have a significant experience with
Please.
chakras.
Please, I want to hear it.
Did you have something to say
Mm.
before I move on to that?
When is anything I say ever meaningful or
You're
relevant?
meaningful to me. Okay, so
Aw.
chakra
All I
story.
see is 3 people laughing.
Okay, so
Ryan,
listen to
you
my
matter.
story.
You
Listen to my
matter.
story. Ryan told this story on one of your episodes where I had the unfortunate esophageal issue.
The chakra episode.
Yes. And I want to explain it further. Because you didn't tell it exactly right.
Well, it didn't happen to me. So.
Well, it wasn't wrong. It's not.
This
It's
is
just.
so funny.
It's just a little more in depth than
Your
that.
dynamic is
Yeah.
so funny.
So, anyway, so I had a really rough time. I was going through a lot in my life personally, and that's important. You'll see why. And then I had surgery, and I was taking this medication at the same time that was causing the problem. So I had surgery, so I couldn't eat well, and I was very depressed, honestly. And I had a lot of personal things going on, and I couldn't eat, and my mouth was hurting. I had an oral surgery. It was the second time having surgery. It was very traumatic, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
Oral
Because
surgery's pain.
the first
It is.
one, the
It's
first
brutal.
one didn't take, so they had to do it
And
a second
nasal
time.
surgery.
What was it?
It sounds really lame, but it was a what's it called?
Not the skin graft, right?
A skin graft.
It was that one?
But for me, it was
Really?
really traumatic, and it was right here in the front of the bottom of my teeth, and that's kind of a normal procedure. Like, they do that a lot, but it didn't work for me, and it was painful, and I couldn't take the medication to. Anyway, so I was on this other medication that was for my skin. I have a lot of skin issues, and I took it without water and went and laid down. And it caused me to have 2 ulcers in my esophagus. And those are the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Really?
Probably the worst pain ever.
She couldn't talk for a long time.
I couldn't swallow
At least a week.
my own spit
Oh.
without crying. And it was my first week of senior year of college.
Ugh.
And I was a music major.
Vocal major, yeah.
And I was doing piano. I did 2 senior recitals. For any music majors out there, you know that's psychotic that I did that. Okay, anyway. So I had a lot on my plate, and we go to this convention, right? Or this the George Norrie thing.
Yeah.
And we meet Vincent.
Coast to Coast AM Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we meet Vincent, Jenna, and his wife Eileen. Shout out to those guys. We love them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
And he's like, who is this sad girl with her head on the table? And I'm literally tagging along because I couldn't be alone. I was that miserable. I was literally drinking lidocaine, if you know what that is,
my God.
to be able to ingest water. Wow. Do you know what lidocaine is?
No.
It's awful.
Is that the tooth numbing stuff?
No, that's Novocaine.
Oh.
Anyway, it's awful. Okay. So he told me all this stuff. Like, yeah, you're whatever's wrong with you is because of your chakras being blocked in your throat and your heart. And it's manifesting in between them in the middle. And then told me other personal stuff. And
Vincent told you that?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I had never really...
That's when I first started.
All they did was say, like, she has a problem with her esophagus. And that was it. And he just, like, started telling me stuff about myself. And I knew he was telling the truth because it's, like, personal stuff. And so I started meditating not too long after that when I got home. And I was thinking about that. And I didn't know what chakras were other than Naruto. I'm a big Naruto fan.
Believe it.
I binged all of Naruto in 1 year over the summer.
That's crazy.
That's epic.
It's
like
a lot of
episodes.
A lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was meditating, and all I was meditating on was 2 words. One of them was like enough, like I am enough, and one of them was love. And I'm not joking. I had a vision while I was meditating. This sounds so crazy.
I don't know this story.
There's
no crazy.
Listen.
Yeah, there is no crazy.
Maybe not here, but to people that in my normal life, they would think this is psycho.
You're good.
Yeah,
okay. Anyway,
sure.
so I had a vision while I was meditating, and it was just like as if I opened my eyes and the world was dark. It was black, and all I could see was a spiral, green. Listen, it was a green spiral.
Ooh.
The heart,
and it was spinning, and this is the crazy part. It slowed down like dun, 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 and then it turned the opposite way.
Damn.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm sorry I hit that.
It's okay. You're good.
But,
Ryan literally does it 40 times
and
an
then
episode.
I'm not joking. Whenever that happened, I felt lighter and everything was a lot more positive after that.
Wow.
You know what's funny? In the episode, the What If episode that we just did with Jeremy, he mentioned one of the questions was about seeing
visuals and
while meditating.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
And I wrote this in my notes. I've always had a fascination with spirals. I am an artist as well.
She's a dope artist.
I'm a painter mainly, but I doodle a lot. And I even when I was a little child, I would always draw little spirals. That was always my doodle with spirals. Like people would draw like hearts and like their crush's name. I would always draw spirals. I even got in trouble for it one time. I was taking a test and I finished early, and I drew spirals all over my test paper, and I got in trouble.
Emily, can I?
I was in the 5th grade when that happened. That was like right before the UFO.
Can I tell that funny story about how you got that kid in anger management, or is that too?
Wait, no, you can't.
What?
I can't. Okay, never mind.
Wait, okay, you can.
Are you sure?
Oh my God.
Okay, probably the worst thing I've ever done.
You should tell it.
I haven't done.
Then we have to tell it.
I have purposefully not done a lot of bad things in my life. I've always tried to do the upstanding thing, but this went wrong. We weren't trying. We weren't trying to do bad here. But my best friend, Jackie. Shout out Jackie.
She's also our cousin.
She's also our
Jackie. Shout out Jackie.
Our cousin. She was at my wedding. Anyway, so
what grade was this? Like 6th grade?
7th grade.
7th grade.
7th grade, y'all. This is the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh my God.
It's really not that bad though.
No, this is.
It's funny.
He really did have anger problems though, so he needed to go to anger management.
So who is he? You don't say his name, but tell the story.
This guy that always would pester us in science class. Who was also Jackie's first kiss.
Whoa.
Anyway, that's embarrassing for her. She would be mad at me for saying that.
It's okay. We're not going to say his name.
It's okay. So anyway, he got on our nerves and would always like bug us, but we were also kind of friends, you know, like we enjoyed being around him, but he was also kind of annoying.
Just little kids, yeah.
And one day I was like, hey, I have an idea. Let's write a really like emo poem, because that's when everything was emo. Everyone was
this
emo.
was the early 2000s.
She wore like dark eyeliner and like, you know, the scene hair. So we were always like, let's write a really emo poem and put it in his locker to mess with him.
Like it was from her?
No, like
No.
an anonymous person dropped a letter off in his locker.
Oh my God.
And it said stuff like, I dream of killing sheep and like sacrificing them. And it was really evil stuff. It was a poem. And then later,
They were just messing with him.
the next day, not the next day, but like later, he comes to us and he's like, y'all, my mom found this note in my pocket that I got from my locker and said, I have to go to anger management now because she thought he wrote it. And we didn't tell
Dear
him.
Evan Hansen part 2.
We didn't tell him.
You know what's the best part?
We didn't tell him that we wrote it.
You know what's the best part?
You never told him?
Never
When they
until
were
like
adults.
high
Right
school.
now, you
No,
just
it was in
learned.
high school.
They told him in high school.
Oh my God.
It was like 3 or 4 years later. And he was like,
They
he was
changed
like,
his future, dude. He
he
went
was
to
like,
anger management for years.
I had to go to anger management for
over that little letter that she slipped in his locker.
His mom didn't believe him
Your
because
actions have consequences.
Yeah.
What the hell, dude? That's incredible.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
That's honestly a legendary story.
I'm a legend.
Yeah, you are, aren't you?
I'm a
Yeah.
legend.
You are a legend.
You're a
Yeah.
legend.
Wow.
That's the perfect place to leave this off. Emily's a legend.
Is
Oh
it
no,
over?
are we wrapped up?
Yeah, we're well over an hour.
Oh my. Oh my.
I have so much left to say.
I mean,
Sorry, gotta get you back.
part 2.
How long are we in?
About an hour 10. I mean, it's up to you, man. Whatever you want to do.
We'll go a little more.
Yeah, forget
Okay.
it. Let's go.
She's about to move to New
Jeremy
York for the rest
Jeremy
of the
got
Yeah.
almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
Let's-
she's about to be gone
Did he?
for the rest of the year pretty
Then
much.
why you cut me short?
He told
We're
me it was
not.
an hour.
Gigi.
Hey, we're gonna override producer on this one.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's consult.
Look, Alex is like,
I haven't even talked about my dreams.
oh
Okay,
my
yeah,
God.
the first question I asked. you.
Okay, so the reason why he's asking that is because I think it's safe to say out of the family, like I've had the most encounters with specific dreams. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
a lot of weird dream things going on in my personal life.
Yeah, in the early years, you were having recurring dreams, right?
Yeah. So anyway, and
Really?
okay, yeah. So I used to have recurring dreams, but
She
before
would draw the entities.
yeah, I would. And I gave them to Dad, and he would show them to people, and they would tell me that they were real, which is scary because I'll tell you what the dreams
See, that
were.
adds to a lot of the fear,
fear.
when she was young. Yeah.
So I had 3 entities that watched me while I slept at different periods of my life, and they would come back every night or every few nights or every month or every week. But I saw them all the time, and they were in my room. It was not sleep paralysis, if you're asking. It was not.
What did
wait,
they look
these
like?
were while you were awake?
No, it was not sleep paralysis.
So what did they look
No,
like?
it was in my sleep.
Oh, okay, it was in your
Oh,
dream.
So
gotcha.
But
one-
it was hyper realistic.
So one of the dreams was of, and people report this. It's like a tall, cloaked figure with no face.
That's super common.
And it would always be watching me in the corner of my room. And then I had one, this one's not the weirdest, but it's still weird. In my mind, it looks like an orc from Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Anyway, it looks like it. I always call it the goblin in my head
Yeah.
because it had like gray skin and kind of pointy teeth and like red eyes, and
Okay,
it would
So far, these are both terrifying.
and it would smile at me, and that one stood closer to me in my dreams
my God.
because the tall dark figure, and my mom didn't know any of this because I didn't want to freak her out.
I knew it.
I was telling them and my dad,
Her brother's
Did this
saying.
start?
and Dad was showing people, and they were coming to me, officials in the government, saying that's real.
Did this start like immediately after?
No.
It was a while
No.
after.
No, it was a few years later.
Really?
So, but this stuff scared me.
Yeah, I bet.
To be told it's real, and I'm like,
yeah,
there's a goblin watching me in my sleep,
With like,
Freaking red eyes
great,
and sharp
awesome.
teeth.
pointy teeth. And it was like as close as we are watching me.
Oh my God.
Well, what was the third one?
The third one is the weirdest one that sounds kind of goofy, but it was a short little thing. Maybe, how tall is this? 3 feet?
Just about, yeah.
And this is why it's weird. It had one eye, and
Mm.
its head was like a brain.
Whoa!
Like,
I didn't expect that
it was
one.
like a head, but the top of the head is like
I don't know
brainy.
about that one.
The top of the head's like a brain. I know this one sounds stupid, but I saw
No, it sounds crazy.
it with one eye, and
Where was the eye?
it was
Like straight in the middle?
under the brain.
Like where the
like
third eye
what's-
would
his
be?
like,
hair was
like the
brains.
movie Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that.
Like how they're half their brains exposed or whatever.
It wasn't exposed. It had skin over it. Anyway, super weird. Anyway, it would watch me. And I, in all 3 of these instances, I had a moment where I got fed up in my real life of having these scary dreams. And I confronted them in my dream. and they disappeared and never came back.
No way.
So for this one, I used to sleep with Mom a lot. We were besties, and Dad would always fall asleep watching TV. So when he did that, I would sleep in Mom's room with her, and we would just like hang out and talk all night, like sleepovers. And Dad's closet, we always had a weird thing about Dad's closet. It creeped us all out, and we never talked about it until we moved out of the house. Like his closet, people would say it was a portal or whatever. But I slept on the side of the bed near that door, and that's where the short one would watch me. Was from his closet
that had the attic
Yes.
access?
Yeah.
I remember you dressing up as a ninja and hiding in there.
So
I used to do weird shit like that all the time.
Yeah, to impress my best friend who became his wife.
Who is now my wife.
Anyway. Oh, I have to tell a story about that she didn't mention, and I was ticked.
Oh.
The first time Jenny spent the night, I was like, and that's where they stand and watch me while I sleep. And I said good night, and then she went to bed in that room. Yes.
No
She
way.
went to bed after I said, and they watched me from that corner.
Yeah.
So how frequently did that happen, and for how long?
It's hard to know. Like I said, I don't remember a lot. But I know it was for months at a time for each one. But in my dream, I'd like say, I'm tired of seeing you, go away, don't come back. Or I'd throw a pillow at it or something, and then it would literally disappear like smoke and never come back.
You know, my most...
But those aren't my only dreams. Those are just that specific topic.
My most
dreams.
common recurring dream throughout my life is having crowds of people with me and orbs or lights or whatever appearing.
Yeah.
And me saying, see, I told you it was real.
Oh.
That's my most common recurring dream.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mine are like me, like losing my teeth and stuff.
I've had that one.
Like my teeth will just fall out of my mouth.
You're
It's
stressed.
horrific. I know. Is that what that means?
I think it's like I'm gonna be wrong if I say it. I think it's like a humiliation thing. Like you're
Really?
like not that you're embarrassed, but like a fear of something, and it's humiliating.
I just had that dream like a few nights ago. I've had that dream very frequently throughout my life. Like my teeth just like falling out.
Wow.
And it always feels so real too. I just had it a few nights ago, and I was thinking like last night, I was like, I wonder if it means something.
One time when I was
Google
like
it.
6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google.
The Casey.
I had a
Casey.
dream that we were driving to Disney World with my cousin Stephanie. And we were in her green car
Shout
that
out
she
Stephanie.
had. Shout out Stephanie. That we had back, or she had back in like the 90s and early 2000s. And we're driving in that car, and I'm in the back seat. Very vivid dream. And I remember us crashing into a lake. And I even remember there were bass swimming in the lake. And I woke up and I peed the bed.
You have excellent storytelling skills.
Proud of you. That was a big thing to admit.
When I was like 6 or 7 years old. Most
I'm proud of you.
males do that. It's like, yeah.
So getting back to me and how important I am.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
I also had a lot of dreams about family members that have passed away. Them telling me messages.
Me too. I still do.
Communicating with them?
Yes. So my great aunt Madeline, we called her Memat. I was extremely close with her. Ryan and I were very, very close with her. Because she lived at Mima's house, and we were neighbors with her when we were children, and we saw her every day. So we had like 2 grandmas in one house.
She helped us with our homework.
Yeah.
She was a school teacher.
We were very close. Anyway, when she passed away, I was absolutely devastated. I didn't eat for like a week. It was really hard. And she came to me in a dream wearing her outfit, one of her outfits she always wore. She wore a lot of fancy clothes. And she said, "Girl, why are you acting like that? Get it together. I'm fine. You're fine." And she was always like that, like really snappy, like, "You're fine," really sassy. And said, "Don't act like that. I'm doing great. Like, you need to be happy." And it felt so real because it was like I was having a normal dream. And then she came in almost as if like the sky opened up and I could see like the truth. And she was right there telling me that. And then she went away, and I went back to my other dream that was like fake.
No way.
And I've also
dreamed... like invaded one of your dreams.
I've dreamed about both of my grandfathers that have passed away. One of them I have never met. And the one about Papa Dickens, who I've never met. Mom had the same one about him after he passed away.
Yo, you want to hear some crazy stuff?
He had wings.
You don't know
this.
Like light. Y'all don't know this story. This is crazy.
They were like light wings, and he was...
I've had that same dream.
Yeah.
When I was 17 years old, I had a dream of Papa with light wings. He came down, and he told me that
that he loved us. Or he told me that he loved me.
Dream. My dream, he said our generation was gonna go through like spiritual change.
He didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
He told me like he was watching me.
Yeah, no, I had that dream when I was 17. But you want to hear some crazy stuff?
Uh-huh.
So obviously, if y'all don't know this, my mother's father was a very well-known, respected, like real estate business owner. In Fayetteville. Back, he died in '94, so obviously he had been around a long time. But he had an office and everything. And anyway, so years after his office was sold to be like another business's office, there have been reports since my grandpa died of a spirit being seen in that place.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people who knew my grandfather
Thought it was him because
thought it was him the whole time.
Why? Like, why specifically? Just because
Because people recognize him. Because my grandfather was known very well around town.
Is this Papa Ted?
Dickens.
Papa Dickens.
No, this was,
Okay.
he died in the 90s.
Mhm.
Got you.
Yeah.
He died when Ryan was a baby.
Yeah, 6 months old.
So I never met him.
Right.
I was the last one to see him. I was a 6-month-old baby with my mom at the hospital. But yeah, no, that's just crazy. Like my grandpa might be chilling in Fayetteville haunting up an office. It's pretty crazy when you put it that way.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, another crazy
That
dream.
wouldn't even shock me.
Another crazy dream I had. I told you about this, and you were like, "Write that down," because I don't write all this stuff down.
I wrote it down. I told it on the show.
What?
Jellyfish.
The jellyfish?
Yep, I
Did
told
you
it-
tell it?
Yeah.
When?
Long time ago on the show.
Wait.
Don't you listen?
I do. What episode was it?
That was
I don't
so
know.
confrontational.
I don't know.
Don't you listen?
It was a long time ago.
I
Just
really
tell it.
don't.
Just tell it. They don't remember.
So anyway,
I thought the jellyfish thing was something that your mom saw.
No, she described.
that was something different.
It was,
Okay.
it was the encounter she had where she described it as having a jellyfish-like appearance. But Emily literally.
That's what mine was like. They did not look like jellyfish.
Oh, well, then tell.
It wasn't like, look at the jellies. It wasn't like that. It was like, okay,
excuse
so
me.
it was the hush.
Oh, sugar.
Hush.
up.
So it was the field out where we live now, where I got married, the same one where I saw that orb that I was talking about.
Mhm.
And in my dream, I was walking over there and I saw all of these little orbs floating around. There were all these different colors. And in my mind, not in the dream, but now I could relate to, they looked like from the Legend of Zelda games, they look like the fairies.
We just made that.
I know you did. I
That's
know you did. And
crazy.
it's spot on. Like they kind of looked like that in my dream, but they were all different colors. And they were like grouped in little groups.
I just love how they're little balls of light.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Yeah.
So they were in my dream, they were grouped, and not all of the lights were the same color in each group, but the things surrounding them were. Okay, so it was like imagine this like kind of shield. Think like an energy shield in any lore.
Like a force field or something.
Like a force field type thing. I thought it was like a jellyfish type thing because it had movement and it was kind of like see-through plasma-y and it had a color to it. Some of them were pink, some were blue, green. It was like rainbow colors.
Like each
like
one
pure
of the orbs
color.
had one around them, or they all had one
So
big one.
imagine a bunch of little polka dots.
Yeah,
And then over top is like an umbrella.
encompassing all of them.
And there's a bunch of umbrellas with a bunch of little polka dots with different numbers of polka dots within each umbrella.
Whoa,
This is
a dream.
This is my dream. And I was like, what am I looking at? They're floating around me and they're beautiful. And I'm just walking around looking at these lights and I see this man, a green man.
No.
And he was like, he was light. He was see-through like a ghost. Like he was the color green. And he told me that they were families. And it was the energy of families. And
like their souls sticking together?
their souls were together and they were bound together. And those souls were always together. And that color around them was like, I interpreted it as like the color of their aura as a family, like their family dynamic was that color kind of thing. That's how I interpreted it. But the green man like disappeared and he said he was like an elemental or something like that. I don't know.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. This is blowing my mind right now. You had a dream
It was
about
beautiful.
about a green man who told you about like families.
Reincarnating together.
They're being bound together.
Through lifetime.
That is like
And then I had
deep,
another
esoteric stuff.
And then I had another like vision, like image come to me or thought.
You know what's the craziest
that
part,
our
by the way?
family.
She does not study the esoteric.
No, I don't.
Well,
Period.
That's kind of why I'm mind
Period.
blown because
I absorb what you tell me, but
Yeah.
I don't study
No.
this stuff.
I'm
I
the only
study
one in-
music and
I'm the
musical
only
theater.
one
Okay.
in the family who studies it. You know,
I just think of these things. And what I was gonna say was, what was I gonna say? I forgot.
You were talking about the colors of the auras and the green.
What I thought, and I told Ryan, was our family color. It's blue or green, and it alternates. And I was like, that's crazy because
podcast color.
That's all of our favorite colors are either blue or green. It's the podcast color, and Chris Jr.'s business company colors is blue and green, and his wedding colors were green, and mine were blue.
And Mom's eyes are green, and the rest of our eyes are blue.
No way.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so wild.
Yeah.
You know what I was gonna say? So yeah, you might not like study esoteric stuff, but I have a hunch that because you are so like intrinsically connected to music, and you spend so much time. Did you see Soul?
Yeah, I live in that world.
That's what I'm saying.
Even when people talk to me. That's where my mind is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think because you spend so much time in, like, the zone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
We call it her bubble.
It's true.
She's in a bubble.
I get reprimanded for not listening, and it's not on purpose. I struggle with maintaining this reality.
I feel you on that. I have a similar thing, not specifically with music,
it's
but
like
I forget to do things for my parents.
Well, it's
like growing up, and I would get in trouble.
Oh, me too.
It's like a gifted thing. Like her mind is always on music or something,
art
that she needs to do. Art.
Do you believe in the muses?
I was Josh Safdie's muse on Uncut Gems.
No, you did not just do that on this show. Uncut Gems.
I don't know. What do you mean? Like,
ask Josh Safdie.
What?
Sorry.
No, not specifically. I more so mean like, so, somebody writing music, it might just appear in your head, a melody or an ensemble or a piece or something, and it literally just appears in your head. You weren't trying to think about it or anything.
I haven't really thought of it in that way, like muses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've always just thought of that as being like gifted something. It could be that. I don't really have an answer for that.
I've just pondered,
because you talked about that on one of the episodes.
Yeah, I think I did. Like,
where you just like download.
Yes, it's like a psychic download. You're downloading it from like the collective consciousness or whatever. But popularly, like throughout the years, it's referenced as the muses.
Yeah.
Like, famous
like
musicians,
Greeks.
Composers, Greeks. Yeah.
Philosophers,
like will claim that they kind of just grabbed something from the muses.
I don't know.
But the where I was getting at with that is,
I think something God or the beings or something gifts that to people who can take something and run with it. Some people who are gifted to do something with that, and I think that's what it is. I don't believe in like the muses, because when I think of the muses, I think of Hercules, like zero to hero.
Yeah, no,
like that.
That's not how.
That's what I think of.
I more so mean the muses not as like an entity or even a group of entities, but kind of like a pool of knowledge.
Yeah, I do.
Like there's a pool of collective knowledge out there that we have kind of created as humanity.
All vibrations are eternal, bro.
This is
you
exactly.
can just tap into them
when
you're in the right state of mind.
Well, that's why I'm very passionate about the voice. I'm a voice teacher. I'm a singer. I'm very passionate about being a holistic teacher. I don't just teach to make you a stronger, better singer. I teach to make you a whole person, because your voice is very connected to your soul. Think about it.
Wow.
If your soul is like, what is your soul? What does it look like? What does it sound like?
Mm-hmm.
You always think of your voice.
That's true. That's how we represent ourselves.
You don't have an image of your body when you break it down. It's maybe a ball of light, but there's a voice that is what distinguishes you from other souls.
Wow, that's really profound.
And so I work with souls. That's what I do as a voice teacher.
Isn't it crazy
and as a singer.
to think that?
And what it is, it's vibration.
Yeah, your voice is
literally vibration.
But isn't it crazy that all of our biology manifests in a way that reflects us all having a unique voice and vibration?
Yes. It's by design.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's incredible.
It's
by
intelligent.
Design. Yeah. So I'm a voice teacher. I studied at NYU vocal pedagogy. So it's the study of of teaching. So I went into like the anatomy, the acoustics, the teaching methods. Like I know all sorts of stuff about that. And I research that, and I find a lot of connections with the voice and stuff Ryan talks about.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
I could continue, but I know we're running out of time.
No. We can do this as long as
Time's a
y'all want.
construct,
I'm
man.
having a blast. This has been such
This
a cool
is like old
episode.
times.
I know.
it is.
I was telling these
It's
guys.
been a long time.
And Jeremy's coming back soon to hang out with us.
I haven't gotten to just hang out with you
Yeah,
in
a long time.
6 or 7 years or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I see you in passing some places or whatever.
I mean,
but,
like in crowds,
yeah, exactly.
but it's not been like a let's
I haven't got
talk.
This,
Like-
yeah,
like
I
an
know.
intimate
I haven't got to
hangout
chill
setting.
with you
'Cause-
forever.
Back in the Dizzy, Nick was probably
Damn.
at our house the most.
Probably.
Oh, definitely. No, definitely. Definitely.
He was always at our house.
He literally lived the closest.
And I always had like one friend, hence like Jenny. And Ryan had a lot of friends over, and I would always hang out with his friends.
Literally, yeah.
So
we always had a
when
big
Nick
crowd.
was over, when other friends were over, I was there. So I was one of the boys.
Oh yeah.
She
for-
was.
for sure.
I always wanted a little brother growing up, and my joke with Emmy was that she was the little brother that.
And I did Wing Chun
never
with you.
had. Yeah, she did. She's
I
a
did.
badass. She's
Yeah.
pretty tough.
Thanks.
Very tough. Very skilled in Wing Chun.
I love Wing Chun.
Very skilled.
I
Very passionate
I
about
was and am like just as close with you as my own sister, if not maybe a little more.
Yo, she might
Yikes.
listen.
Love you, sissy. She doesn't listen,
Okay.
but Leah does.
Oh,
Hey,
Shout out
Leah.
shout out Leah.
Leah.
We haven't talked about that. We've been meaning to shout out Leah and
Yeah.
Jonah.
Shout out Leah
Yeah.
and Jonah.
Shout out.
I
Leah
gave your
and Jonah.
mom some voice lessons.
She can't stop talking about it.
Really?
Oh my gosh, Emily! I figured she
Aw.
would have been oozing to you. She has told me.
No, she hasn't.
Yeah. So after the first few lessons, she's also talking about she's wants to know if you would give her piano lessons too.
Yes.
She got a nice electric piano. She's
Oh, good.
always
Good
wanted
for
to play
her.
piano.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, listen. I called her because she told me, and she was really nervous. My mom's kind of bashful
Yeah.
about her voice.
Oh,
You know
it's
what I
a
mean?
personal thing. And if you're
Yes.
not used to sharing it,
It
it's
is.
very personal.
Yeah, and so for one reason or another, she was like nervous to go and start, and I kept encouraging her, like, Emily, there's nobody better that could teach you. She's going to be personable.
And I do
She's-
not judge.
That's
I
exactly
love
what I
it
said.
when you mess up because that's a lesson learned.
Mhm.
Or it's literally your anatomy freaking out because it's new
That's exactly.
stuff happening. I
told
do
her-
not care.
I told her Emily's the last.
That's a
person
very
that's gonna
profound
judge
way
you.
to think about it.
Yeah,
I've never thought about it.
but
like
anyway,
All I say is profound things. Go ahead.
that. Wow.
she's spitting, y'all.
Yeah. This is Emily in rare form.
Yeah,
She's
after
extremely modest.
After the first
I am
lesson, I called her because she was really nervous, and she told me when she was going to go and do it. And so I made sure to call her afterwards and just like ask her how it went. And we talked for like an hour. And she was
Aw.
like, Emily is a genius.
Oh my gosh.
She just gushed and gushed. She said, she taught me things that I would have never thought about. She was literally like telling me the things that you were teaching her. Like she was so,
That's so sweet.
I honestly haven't seen her that excited in a very long time.
Oh, I'm honored.
She
Well,
absolutely loved it.
I mean, I'd like to contribute that to me, but it's how important the voice is to a person.
Well,
And for that to improve also, I mean, I'm giving the credit to her, really. It's really her making changes. I just guide.
but you have to give yourself credit for that because you understand.
Not everyone can guide.
You understand
Yes.
the importance of that. I think that is.
I'm very delicate, knowing what I can say to certain students.
It's because you're an
Empathetic.
empath.
No, that's
empathetic.
maybe.
No,
I'm
I mean,
a diagnostician. That's what I do. I diagnose, and I'm like a detective. Like
Diagnose me right now.
That's what I do.
Diagnose me.
We don't have enough time
Sing,
for that. But
sing,
anyway,
and I'll diagnose you.
Oh, I meant like my psyche.
yeah, we don't have enough time for that. That's gonna. That we'll have. We can make a whole different podcast about that.
Yeah. Lock me up, brother.
It's just like a bowl of mashed potatoes.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
What I was gonna say is,
My brain is a bowl of mashed potatoes.
No, it's fruity pebbles.
Ryan's in
Ryan-
rare form right now.
I'm
y'all.
desperate for the attention.
Ryan, it's fruity pebbles.
I'm just kidding.
He loves fruity
I
pebbles.
do. I love
Go
fruity
ahead.
pebbles.
I think that's a truly.
Alex, you've never really seen me and my sister hang out, have you?
We're interesting.
No, dude.
Something-
You should see us
something
watch.
special happens.
Watch Beyond Scared Straight. Together.
Oh my God. Face the wall.
Face the wall. That show's crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That show's amazing.
It is. It's amazing.
We used to watch it all the time.
You guys want to go watch Beyond Scared Straight?
I didn't.
No.
I didn't even tell the story about any of the fires on my list.
Yeah. Honestly, we covered most of the notes.
Fires.
Yeah,
Like
there's
the tree fire and
the
stuff?
tree caught on fire and our house caught on fire, and those are both
Oh my God,
interesting
I forgot.
stories.
What's your password?
I forgot your house caught on fire.
Yes, it did, and I was
Wasn't it a
the one
lightning
that
strike?
saw it.
Wasn't it
Yes.
a lightning strike?
I
It was
was-
a lightning strike on the CB antenna.
I'll tell it. It's very quick. That one is funny because I was playing piano, of course, in the dark because the lights went out. Lightning struck Dad's tower that he has that he used for CB radio.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over the concert?
Ruined all the
Yes.
applications in the house. I remember y'all got
so
all
when it-
brand new stuff after
When
that.
first the power went out. That was normal. It was a terrible thunderstorm. And I was playing pianos, acoustic piano in the dark. Mom had lit some candles.
Mhm.
And they went out on the porch to watch the lightning. So I was alone. Ryan and everyone, Jeremy and Christopher were gone. And I saw this candle over my shoulder in the red room getting really bright. And I looked and I was like, oh, shoot, the house is on fire.
You immediately knew.
Well, it was coming out of the floor.
Oh, yeah.
The
So,
floor was on fire.
yeah.
So this is my legendary moment that everyone makes fun of me for.
Oh, damn.
I walk. I don't run to the front of the house and go on the porch and I say, the house is on fire.
No, you did
And Mom and
not.
Dad look
She
at.
did.
I'm very, very calm in
Yeah.
intense situations. It's a superpower. Mom and Dad look at me and they're like, "What?" And then they go, "What?" And then they run and sprint inside. And
Oh my God.
Dad drags the hose in and he's spraying it down. And I was like, maybe kicking into gear to help at that point. But at first I was like, hey guys, the house is on fire. But it turned out that where the lightning struck and the power came up is right where Dad's chair was that he always sat in. So it would have burst in flames right where he was sitting. And he tells that story.
Yep.
Because he had also seen an owl sitting on that tower
Yep.
hooting.
He
Right.
did.
When? The
Right.
same
The night
day?
before?
The same night,
It's the night. Yeah, the same night.
right before the thunderstorm.
Whoa.
He thought it was weird. Like, why is there an owl on my tower? And then it got struck.
Oh my gosh. I think animals are nature
See,
spirits.
Our stories
They're
are
definitely-
not like
Mhm.
UFOs. It's like
Exactly.
all
it's so much
sorts
more
of
than
things.
that. It's so much more than UFOs.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I didn't even talk about how I would walk in the house on purpose in the dark to show any scary beings that I wasn't scared of them.
Damn.
That is
Show 'em.
some childhood trauma speaking.
Damn.
I mean, because I had the scary things watching me, and I would turn off, or I wouldn't turn them off. I would just like not turn them on, and I would
Yeah.
walk to the kitchen in the dark just because I'm not scared.
That's fearless.
Yeah, I never was scared to walk in the yard in the dark. Never.
Kind of lose that.
Yeah. I don't really get scared of being out.
I'm not scared of the dark. No,
No, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not scared of the dark.
I'm scared of frogs.
I'm
but
just, how you have that general
Oh, no,
hesitation
Emily.
I hate your parents' house because of that. There's so many frogs.
There's a chorus of frogs at
So many
all
frogs
times
at
in the
their house.
backyard. It's amazing.
It's the worst, honestly.
Yeah.
I love that that's your thing too. Like that's the one you're not afraid of interdimensional beings. You're not
No.
afraid of creepy shit in the
Or
corner
fires.
of your room or fires. Yeah, literally your house is on
Frogs.
fire. You're like, there's a frog. I'm out. I'm
Yes.
out. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
I was seeing if Dee Dee was going to pull the trigger on coming and joining us on the couch.
She thought about it.
But with that being said, it's time to come to a close.
It's time.
Yep.
That was so
We're overdue.
epic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here. with
you.
us.
Yes.
My baby sis.
And please,
Thanks for having
come
me.
on anytime you want. We'll just have you on random episodes. We'll have you back for a second interview. We can write some more stuff. And if you do end up doing a regression,
Oh yeah.
we have to do an episode.
Definitely.
About that.
Yeah, I have more on my list I didn't talk about. I can.
Oh, bet. Episode
No, I mean,
2
we
coming
pretty
soon.
much covered
Episode
everything.
2 coming soon.
I just looked over it. There was
Cool.
one or two things that I had no clue what they were that we didn't cover, but
Yeah.
So you know what you got to do now, right? On the count of 3, we got to do a bye, guys.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye,
Later,
guys. What'd you say?
Later, taters.
That's not,
why does nobody?
that's not the thing.
Nobody does it right. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week.
Peace.